evening. The August 22nd, 2023 meeting of the Marion County School Board is now called to order at 5:30 p.m. Mirroring and modeling the way our students begin each of their school days, I ask that we now observe a moment of silence. Please join me. Thank you. I'd now like to ask Ms. Conrad if she would read our board commitment statement. Good evening, Ms. Conrad.
Good evening. Thank you. We are the Marion County School District leadership team. When we come to work together, we are efficient, effective, and productive. Our three most important characteristics are dedicated, transparent, and individually responsible. To work well together, we must demonstrate respect, confront reality, and be accountable. We will always put students first. We will leave a legacy of success.
Thank you. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I would like to request everyone in the audience to please remove their hats and turn off electronic devices or put them on silent. Later in the meeting, up to 30 minutes will be provided for individuals to address the board on matters concerning the operation of the Marion County school system or the school board only. Presentations to the board are limited to 5 minutes and are televised. If you wish to address the board regarding a regular agenda item or on matters on which the board customarily takes action, you must first complete a peach-colored form located in the lobby. If you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing or a student disciplinary matter, please complete a lime green colored form. These forms must be fully completed and received by the board clerk no later than 5:40 p.m. The procedures applicable for each are on a separate sheet. Board clerk, please call the roll.
Dr. Allison Campbell, District 1.
Here.
Mrs. Lori Conrad, District 2.
Here.
Mr. Eric Cummings, District 3. Mrs. Nancy Thrower, District 4.
Here.
Dr. Sarah James, District 5.
Here.
Dr. Diane Gullett, Superintendent.
Here.
Mr. Jeremy Powers, School Board Attorney.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Also like to welcome our two student board members. We probably need to add them to this role as we go along, but good to have you with us. Caitlin and Genesis, thank you so much for joining us again. So Dr. Gullett, good evening. Would you please introduce the member of your team who will help us with this evening's inspiration and pledge?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Great to see you, and student representatives as well. Always great to have you here. It's my pleasure to introduce to you our principal at SPAR, Renee Johnson, who's going to come forward and she has with her some very special guests from our a brand new Future Aviators Academy. And so, Ms. Johnson, if you want to come forward, thank you so much.
Good evening. Thank you so much, and good evening, Board Chairperson Ms. Campbell, Vice Chair Ms. Thrower, Board Members Dr. James, Ms. Conrad, Superintendent Dr. Gullett, Mr. Powers, and Ms. Martinez-Lopez. It is such an honor to be here tonight to highlight the beginning of the school year and also some wonderful things that are happening at SPAR Elementary School. The beginning of the school year is always an exciting and memorable time. During the past 2 weeks, students have gotten to reconnect with old friends, meet new teachers, and also start to become comfortable in their new classrooms. At SPAR Elementary, we've had the opportunity to enjoy this joy and excitement while also kicking off our new and exciting aviation program. Aviation and aerospace are two of the fastest growing industries, not just in the nation, but also in the world. While we do understand that at the elementary age, most students are not solidifying their career paths, we do also acknowledge that it's critically important that these different industries and careers begin to appeal to the students so that their interest in them can start to grow. The easy part, all we have to do is expose them to them, and then nature will take the rest of the reins. Excuse me, I lost my place. This one-of-a-kind program at SPAR Elementary works to improve STEM literacy and generate interest in the STEM fields. Through strategic integration of aviation and aerospace concepts inside the classroom and extracurricular on-campus activities, SPAR students will have the opportunity to gain exposure to and experience hands-on learning, which will generate interest and intrigue in these interesting STEM fields. In addition, it will increase student engagement, which will in turn enhance student learning outcomes for all students at Spar Elementary. I would also like to point out that Ms. Urso, who's done a wonderful job heading up this program, she has been in constant communication and collaboration with North Berrien Middle School, as this program aligns with and feeds directly into the Civil Air Patrol at North Berrien Middle School. And then at this time, I would like to introduce two of the many wonderful students at Spar Elementary, Zyden Grant and Peyton Hammett.
Good evening. My name is Zyden Grant, and I am in 5th grade at Spar Elementary. I have had a good start to the school year. I really like my teachers, and we are really learning a lot. Right now, we are learning about plotting decimals and math. I'm really looking forward to the school year because we are going to be doing a lot of science projects and aviation stuff. A couple of days ago, we had a helicopter come to our school, which was cool to see.
Hello, my name is Peyton Hammett, and I am also in 5th grade at Spar Elementary. I'm going to have a great year this year, especially with all my friends and being a safety patrol. I love Spar because we do a lot of fun things, and I am in the aviation club, video club, and 4-H. I'm hoping to be showing the hog this year. I do not want to ever leave this school. I'm so excited for this school year and can't wait to see what comes next.
At this time, please stand for the pledges. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board, would you like to go take some pictures?
Please be seated.
We're coming down to take some pictures. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson, and to these amazing students. I had the privilege to be out there when they had the helicopter come visit, and it truly was an amazing experience for those students, seeing a helicopter up close and personal. I just read an article this week about the need for air traffic controllers, and I was thinking about how perfect it is that we are launching, no pun intended, into all of these air and airspace kinds of things in elementary school, even for our career tech. So thank you again, Ms. Johnson. Thank you to your team and to these amazing students. It's always great to start our meetings that way. Okay, Dr. Gullett, I believe that we have some recognitions for this evening.
We certainly do. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. And we couldn't do our work without our incredibly dedicated, committed partners in our community, not only supporting SPAR students, but all of the students in Marion County Public Schools. So I would like for Ms. Debick to come forward, who oversees community engagement for us, and share all of the wonderful folks that are here so we could recognize their efforts in supporting students. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Campbell, Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Dr. Gullett. I am pleased to be able to recognize all of our community partners that have had a part in helping us start the school year off with success. There are several different campaigns and initiatives, so I'm going to bring up some individuals, and then at the end, I'm hoping we can take a few pictures with you all. First, I would like to introduce Ms. Ashley Gertz with the Community Foundation to talk about the second annual Back to School Community Give Back.
Good evening. I am Ashley Gertz, the Director of Strategic Engagement and Community Engagement for the Community Foundation for Ocala Marion County. I would like to invite our President, Lauren Diorio, to join me. As the 2023 back-to-school season begins, we would like to take a moment to extend our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for the remarkable partnerships that have played an instrumental role in making this year's Community Give Back initiative a resounding success. The collaborative efforts of our esteemed partners have truly exemplified the spirit of unity, compassion, and commitment to education that lies at the heart of our community. Through their unwavering support and dedication, we have been able to provide invaluable resources and opportunities for students to embark on a new school year with confidence and enthusiasm. Our sincere recognition goes to the following partners whose contributions have gone above and beyond in ensuring the success of the 2023 Back to School Community Give Back. Our first partner is Skanska Construction, has been a partner from the inception of my dream of creating a countywide back-to-school event to serve thousands of students throughout Marion County. They have graciously supported this initiative for the past 3 years and supplied over 20,000 supply stuffed backpacks and over $120,000 in donations that have been designated solely around education and youth here in Marion County. The Bullard Family Foundation, through their tireless efforts, partnership with Skanska and Advent Health, helped supply over 30,000 supply stuffed backpacks to multiple counties throughout West Central Florida. We are humbled to have the opportunity to be supported by these 3 amazing partners. This would not be possible without Marion County Public Schools. They have been extremely helpful in the mission of reaching multiple areas within the county and providing Lake Weir High School, Denellen Middle School, Liberty Middle School, North Marion High School, and Fort McCoy School as our satellite locations. The staff and leadership have been nothing short of amazing in taking lead at their locations and helping serve our local communities. Advent Health Ocala, on top of their major donation through their West Division in partnership with Skanska and the Bullard Family Foundation, Advent Health Ocala has stepped in since the inception to partner with MCPS and the Community Foundation to help provide the main location at their ACC building and provide a large tent to accommodate our many community partners helping serve the local community to the highest capacity. If you are named as a partner, please stand. Marion County Fire. Ms. Pamela Driggers has been able to help us support the Bicycle Helmet Initiative, and you guys were able to distribute how many? Over 500 bicycle helmets were fitted by somebody of certification and given out amongst our 10 locations. We appreciate you. Marion County Sheriff's Office was able to provide a multitude of items, including bike lights. Marion County, the City of Ocala, the ROC program was able to provide at each of our location school supplies, hygiene supplies, and basic essentials for start of school. Early Learning Coalition, Junior League of Ocala, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, Bow Broker Real Estate, College of Central Florida, Dillon Media, Heart of Florida, Cell State Cares, South State Bank, Regions Bank, the Boyd Group, AR Workshop, the Boys and Girls Club, the United Way Reading Pals, Freedom Dental Clinic, Marion County Health Department, His Compassion, the U.S. Army, and the U.S. Army National Guard have all pitched in to help make Back to School Community Give Back more than just a backpack event. Our additional 2023 partners to help expand our mission to 10 locations were the Friends of Recycling Center in partnership with Marion County Children's Alliance, the Forest Community Center in partnership with East Marion Elementary and Lake Weir Middle School, the Frank DeLuca YMCA, and the City of Bellevue. These partners helped our mission reach new heights and helped bring our total distribution to 8,000 backpacks within Marion County. Moving 7,000 backpacks from Tampa to Ocala is no easy task and consists of 24 Gaylords filled to the brim with backpacks and supplies. Gill Logistics took the heavy lift at no cost to the Community Foundation or Marion County Public Schools and helped get the backpacks to each of the 10 locations, and their staff worked tirelessly to help the drivers and pack up the trucks. Thank you, Gill Logistics. Michael Gill, this would have not been possible without you. Each attendee registered and we were able to capture valuable data to help plan for the 2024 and to help stop duplications within our community. These partners have not only contributed resources, but have also inspired our community with their shared vision for a brighter future through education. Their dedication to uplifting the next generation embodies the values that drive us as an educational institution. From vaccines to backpacks, we tried to touch as many community needs to set students and families up for success for the 23-24 school year. As we prepare to welcome students back to school, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to these partners and all others who have supported the 2023 Back to School Community Give Back. Your unwavering commitment serves as an inspiration to all of us and reaffirms our belief in the power of collaboration to create meaningful change. Thank you to your continued support and for being a beacon of hope for our opportunity of our students. We look forward to another successful school year and the endless possibilities it holds. We look forward to serving our community next year and expand on services to families within Marion County and continue to build a healthy and strong community. Thank you for your support.
I was just going to say one thing to piggyback that. As the president and executive director for the Community Foundation, I think the overall theme you heard was how the collaborative effort took place. And I think the more we can do that and the more we can bring community into the fold, it's going to streamline and make some efficiencies and have a bigger impact in the community. And no better way did this backpack program state the mission of the Community Foundation, which is to enhance the quality of life for every citizen in Marion County, regardless of their income levels or where they are in life. So we're going to be continually committed to helping you as a school district achieve the goals that you need to and help the students and parents have the needs and the resources to be successful moving forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Ham to say a few words about their Stuff the Bus campaign.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Gullett, board members. It's good to be back. It's been a while. We've been busy. This is the 22nd year for Stuff the Bus. And in that 22 years, this year, we went over $1 million in value of backpacks and school supplies given to our schools. This year, my A team, and I'm going to introduce them in a minute, stuffed 2,018 backpacks, each with 19 different items, and you'll see them. I have a poster that shows what's in the backpacks. We deliver to every elementary school and every middle school prior to the first day of class. And our goal is to provide those backpacks so that the school counselors, when they encounter a homeless student or a student in need, can simply give them everything they need to start the year on a level playing field. Our backpacks come in 26 different patterns and colors. They're indistinguishable from other backpacks that you'll see on campus, and we do that intentionally. And we target that population because many times lacking transportation and accessibility, they simply can't get to other outlets for support. We meet them where they are, and that's in the schoolhouse. The downside of that is we never get to see the smiling face when they get the backpack. And for obvious privacy reasons, we don't use photographs of students in our advertising and on our Facebook page unless we happen to have a star banner photo or a model release. But having said that, I want to introduce the people that really make this thing go. And I'd like to start with Suzanne McGuire. Suzanne, if you'd stand up. Suzanne, former homeless liaison and veterans liaison for the school system, was there in the beginning, 22 years ago, when the late Chaplain Lamar Hunt, with the Marion chapter of the Military Officers Association of America, said, we need to do something about this problem. And she was in the perfect chair to bring that together, to deal with homelessness and to get veterans involved. And Suzanne, I don't think even you envision where we would be today. As I call the other members of the A-team, they're going to bring a backpack and put it on the stage because we don't want to be tackled if we try to run up to the board members. And the A-team have definitely been there every step of the way to stuff backpacks. And I'm going to start with Captain Steve Petty. Steve, if you'd stand and take a backpack up there. It's interesting, we talked about a helicopter coming to Spar Elementary. Steve is a highly decorated helicopter pilot from the Vietnam War. He has a Silver Star and a Purple Heart. He's the closest thing to a true hero among us, and he has been a tremendous asset to us, as well as leading the Marion County Honor Guard that provides dignified ceremonies for homeless veterans who pass, as well as others who are buried at the Florida National Cemetery in Bushnell. Next to him is a Navy veteran. This is Charles Calhoun. And Charles is the president of the On Top of the World Veterans Club and is one of the most dynamic and involved people I know, exceeded in energy only by his wife, Fran Calhoun. And when Fran gets involved with stuffing backpacks, my wife's a former nurse, Fran was a nurse, I get it, they take charge. And she's been a tremendous asset. And another longtime member of the A-team, Lieutenant Colonel Carol Walker, past president of the Military Officers Association of America and a key member of our team. And these are the people that stood out in front of Walmart in July in the sun getting school supplies donated by patrons to put on our bus, which right now the air conditioning doesn't work. So if the bus garage could help me out a little bit, I'm just throwing that out there. But they have put in countless hours to make this work. And with those 5 backpacks, because this one I'll get to Reverend Cummings, will make 2023 backpacks this year, a new high water mark for the Stuff the Bus campaign. We're delighted to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
In addition to these amazing partners, our mental health and wellness team also led the charge for the annual Mission Bus Brigade campaign. This campaign affords residents and businesses the opportunity to make a genuine difference in a child's life by donating school supplies, backpacks, children's clothing, shoes, hygiene items, and financial contributions. Tonight, we have representatives from Tip Tap Insurance Company, the Stone Creek community, Dan Newland, HCA Healthcare, and the Ocala County Association of Realtors joining us who participated in Mission Bus Brigade. All schools in the district receive a minimum of 3 shipments of school supplies from this campaign and go to students in need. Would all the companies who participated in Mission Bus Brigade please stand? We also have the Public Education Foundation of Marion County with us tonight. The Public Education Foundation assisted with back-to-school efforts, focusing on providing classroom supplies directly into the hands of our teachers through their Tools for Teaching program. This team, along with the Golden Apple Academy members and volunteers, put together 900 bags totaling more than $30,000 in school supplies for district teachers. Would you please stand? Thank you to all of our community partners who helped us with back-to-school efforts. I'm also pleased to share that tonight we have representatives from over 30 faith-based organizations with us tonight who helped us support staff and students leading up to the start of school. The activities from the faith-based community range from campus cleanups, mentoring programs, back-to-school events, goodie baskets for staff, book bags and supplies for students, praying and blessing school campuses, welcome back breakfasts, hygiene items, clothing and shoes for students in needs, water bottles, shelving and storage items, and staff meals. Would everyone here representing a faith-based organization please stand? At this time, if it pleases the board, we were thinking we could do 2 separate pictures, one with the community back-to-school give back, Stuff the Bus, Mission Bus Brigade Public Ed Foundation, and then one with the faith-based community, if that's okay.
We are coming down. You direct us.
Thank you. Make some money.
Everybody inhale and come this way. Just about got him. That's working. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Everybody stay right where you are. We're going to take some close-ups here. So get ready for your close-up. One more. Everybody good? Go for it. All right, thank you, folks. Hey there, good to see you. Twice in one day? Yes. I found out another photographer. Thank you. Likewise. Well, thank you. What's up, Sarah? Good to see you. Likewise. If our faith-based community representatives would come forward, please.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for marketing logo. You're going to be on my subcommittee.
Yes.
Did you like it?
Mary delivered the message. I did.
Okay.
I would have said the same thing Allison did.
Okay.
Keep the apple.
Keep the apple, right? But I also want my PF in the
I understand.
It's kind of like a ownership
Understand.
thingy.
I understand.
All right.
Okay, now these folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have to do 2 rows, at least. So those of you who are not as vertically high, step forward. Can you? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Right here. Go ahead, Pam. Go ahead. Pictures. You got it? Okay. Here we go. One more for the cause. Good. Thank you. Have a good night, man. Good to see you. Give Matt my regards. I will. Thanks, sir. Absolutely. Thanks for being here tonight and what you do. Hey there. Good to see you. Hello there. Everybody have a great night. We try. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. What's up, stranger?
Good to see you.
You haven't been here in a while. Where are you hiding?
I just want to bring up the same stuff again.
Okay.
See if we make some head.
Yeah.
Microphone.
It is on.
Thank you again to all of those amazing community partners. It truly is a reflection on the Ocala-Marion County community. Just the vast numbers of people who are participating in ensuring that every student in our public schools can succeed this year, making sure that they have all that they need to be successful, all that they need from school supplies to hygiene items, whether they have an individual who's taking them to a backpack drive or they're homeless and don't have that and have it at their school. Truly is amazing when you hear all of the partnerships and all of the connections and how every individual has made such an impact. So thank you again to all of those amazing community partners. At this time, we would also like to take a moment to recognize some individuals and organizations that have provided sizable contributions and donations to the school district. Training mannequins and hospital bed suites valued at $18,253.80 from the College of Central Florida to Marion County Public Schools to be used in our health sciences programs. Backpacks and supplies, you heard much of that today, valued at more than $84,000 from the Marion County Veterans Council with their Stuff the Bus program to be given to the homeless and the needy students. Those donations valued more than $103,000 total. So thank you again to all of those who contributed. Dr. Gullett, at this time, would you like to make a recommendation on the agenda?
I certainly will. Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, I recommend approval of the agenda for the August 22nd, 2023 school board meeting with the materials in the board packet, those materials distributed to the board members at the meeting, and the audio recording included as part of the official record, with the exception of items D22.1 and D22.2 that have been placed under discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. James.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Thrower. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the July 11th, 2023 school board meeting?
Motion to approve the July 11th minutes.
Motion by Vice Chair Thrower. Second by Ms. Conrad. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the July 13th, 2023 public workshop?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Conrad.
Second.
Second by Dr. James. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the July 20th, 2023 administrative briefing and work session?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Conrad.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Thrower. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Ms. Martinez, could you please provide a proof of publication for this evening's meeting?
The notice for the August 22nd, 2023 board meeting ran in the Ocala Gazette on August 11th, 2023. The proof of publication has been attached in board docs under proof of publication.
Thank you so much. I'll now ask the school board's attorney to explain the rules governing persons who wish to address the school board this evening. Good evening, Attorney Powers.
Good evening, Madam Chair. In compliance with Section 286.0114 of Florida statutes, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who wish to speak at this evening's meeting, either regarding one of today's agenda items or a matter relating to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures is available from the table in the lobby. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms were due to the school board's clerk no later than 5:40 p.m. This evening's speakers will be called prior to the business portion of the school board's meeting in the order of receipt by the school board clerk. Before you begin speaking, please state your name for the record and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 5 minutes of time. However, if there are more than 5 persons who wish to speak, the board may seek consensus to limit each speaker's time to 3 minutes. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Therefore, verbal attacks and profanity are strictly prohibited. Pursuant to the procedures for public comments, item 6, speakers are not to identify specific individuals other than themselves or their child, unless the statement is provided 24 hours in advance. The board is here to listen to your comments only. You may be directed to an administrator or staff member following the conclusion of your comments for further assistance to address any concerns. If there are matters dealing with student discipline, including expulsions, they will be scheduled at the conclusion of the televised portion of this meeting. Parents may address the board regarding a discipline matter at this time. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use a student's first or last name. Identifying references to or identification of other students and/or their families are also strictly prohibited. A speaker's speech does not reflect the endorsement, sponsorship, position, or expression of the school district. Thank you for the attention to this board's requirements. Chair, that concludes my explanatory remarks.
Thank you, Attorney Powers. Ms. Martinez, do we have any speakers this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 4 speakers. Mr. Glenn Fiorello.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Glenn Fiorello. And my reason for being here this evening is really to follow up on what we discussed in the past about Good Friday. And I know you've already got a schedule set ahead, but what I'd like to see us enact now, not wait till the last minute, to make it either a policy or just vote on it, that Good Friday will be taken into consideration, not only consideration, but will be part of the holidays that we have off for school without adding an additional day, another day off. And it seemed like there was somewhat of a consensus to do that in the future, but I'd like to do it now if possible, so that it's done and I can move forward and we don't forget about it. That's pretty much it in a nutshell on that end. I know we can't interact at this stage of the game, but I'm going to bring up 2 other things. One that piggybacks with that. Some of you may remember, first time I came here, I spoke about when I was in office, we always had a moment of silence. I saw you had that today. And of course, I daydreamed again through the moment of silence. I didn't pray. When my pastor asked me why we had a moment of silence when I was in office, I said, no, he said, what were you doing? And I said, I was doing my shopping list. I'm not going to lie. He said, you ever think of praying? I said, oh, that ain't going to happen. I asked the board if we could have a non-denominational prayer, and they accepted. And if it's been 30 years now, they're still praying before they start their meetings. That's something you might want to think about. It's a good thing, and it's happening right here in Marion County with the Board of County Commissioners. The other thing is, I hated people that used to talk like this. Back in my day, well, when I was in office also, we had a thing called impact fees. I'm a general contractor and went up against my own industry. I knew we needed them at the time, and I know you've just discussed them. If you do settle in on your impact fees, think of a couple things. We usually say what works in another county doesn't work here, but they're somewhat similar. And we had our consultant back then, we paid $30,000 for a consultant to come up with impact fees, and when I was reading through the documents, I saw Pasco County's name was in there. So what they normally do is they print what works for one county for them all. We started with impact fees. They were $670 or $640, and it was called road transportation impact fees. I asked the board, and they agreed at the time, and I'm asking if you do end up with impact fees, if you don't mind interjecting one thing, ask that they be paid a certificate of occupancy. When the building department signs off and says that house is ready to occupy, don't put it on the developer's back. He just developed the land. It's a building contractor, and I have to be one of them, that builds the unit. But so it's not a hardship on everyone, ask that it be delayed the payment until certificate of occupancy. I think you'll have a win-win with that. There's another thing called concurrency. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that term or not. But when there's a development coming in, the biggest part is the ingress and egress into that large tract of land. Make sure that you can stress to make the impact fees a little lower The person that's developing the property, he or she puts that into place. It's not a popular decision, but it's a realistic one. Now, I'm speaking against my own industry because I've developed and I'm also a general contractor of almost 50 years, or a little better than 50. But it was the right thing to do then, and it will be the right thing to do now. I just thank you for all that you do, and I see the way you interact with the children. It is phenomenal. People don't see this. And when I see you giving out awards, it really is neat to see that right now we're in a society that sometimes we never speak good. It's more fun, for no better term, to speak down about somebody. You got some great kids here. You really do. And there are leaders. And I see some of the teachers, and I was interacting with one earlier. I want to see. No, she left. She made it very clear this is her profession. It is a profession. And we need to let people know more about that as opposed to complaining all the time. That being said, if you could move it, and let me know if you're going to move so I can put this to bed about the respect for Good Friday. That's the main thing, because if there was no Good Friday, as I've said in the past, there would be no Easter. And we take off for Easter. So if you could expedite that, I would really appreciate it. That being said, I thank you and respect you for what you all do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fiorello. Ms. Martinez?
Mr. Christopher Altabello.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Superintendent Gullett, board members. My name is Christopher Altabello, A-L-T-O-B-E-L-L-O, and I'm a proud parent of 2 high school students and a proud husband of a school counselor in Marion County. I represent the interests of public school educators and support staff in Marion County and public school educators in Sumter County. I know it's been a while since I've addressed the board. Tonight, I'm not here in my professional capacity, but I'm here as a parent. For the past 10 years, MCPS teachers and staff have been able to call my children by the names Tony and Maddie. Now, for them to do this, I must sign a paper giving them authorization to call my children the names that they have used throughout their lives. You have got to be kidding me. Yet this is where we are in Florida. As a parent, I'm disgusted that the legislature and State Board of Education continue to pass and implement useless legislation that does nothing to enhance my children's education, never mind ensure that they have a high-quality public school teacher in front of them. This is not a dig on you all. I don't need to remind this board that we're in dire straits in terms of recruiting and retaining education staff, and it's not just here in Marion. Estimates show that we have roughly 12,000 education-related vacancies across the state, hundreds here in our backyard. Yet the best the legislature can do is come up with laws like this one. Parents in Marion County should be as disgusted as I am that our tax dollars are being spent on useless policies like this one. Legislation on book banning, nicknames, AP classes are just some of what Tallahassee and those leaders in our backyard continue to pass year after year. It's no wonder why we can't find teachers and why students don't want to come to school. When I was writing this afternoon, I was reminded of that famous movie back in the 90s called American President, starring Michael Douglas. And that famous quote that he had in there when he said, "We have serious problems, and we need serious people to solve them." And he's talking a little bit more, and he also says, "Your 15 minutes are up." Yes, we have serious problems, and yes, we need serious people to solve them. And to all those legislators that continue to avoid addressing these problems while passing this useless legislation, I hope one day we'll be able to tell them, your 15 minutes are up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altabello.
Ms. Kirsten Angel.
Good evening. My first name is Kirsten Angel. My last name is spelled Angel. I live at 2055 Southeast 50th Terrace, Ocala, Florida, 34480. And I'm here tonight to address the hiring and future retention of Corey Taylor. And what I want to say to the board members is, first of all, I realize how difficult your decision may be. I was talking to one school board member, and she said literally they had 30 to 45 minutes to make their decision, and she, quickly proceeded in the best way that she could. And I truly appreciate that. I know it is not a difficult task to do what you all do. However, I, as a taxpayer, not only expect, but I demand that you all act as a business. And I know working in the field of education, it's difficult because you have to work as a business, yet you also have to educate our children, and that sometimes does present challenges. However, in the hiring and future retention of folks such as Corey Taylor, I demand...
Ms. Angel, I'm going to ask to refrain from using people's names as per the rules that I laid out. You can identify by position. You can identify that you have general questions or concerns, but I'm going to request that you not use people's names.
All right. Again, I understand that you all have, like I say, a difficult decision, and I understand that you all have to make it in terms of the stresses that you're under. However, I have a problem with the particular hiring and retention of this particular individual, and here's why I have those feelings. First of all, we want to hire someone in the school system who does portray the feelings of honor, truth, justice, and integrity. This particular individual does not. A long time ago, when I worked at the state attorney's office, I supported this individual. I supported this individual because he was helping to work things in the west side of Ocala, which it was wonderful that he was trying to do that. However, towards the end of his career, I became aware, as did many people in this community, became aware that he took on someone else's name to basically say that he was like a great officer somewhere else, when that program called the officer, and it was a deputy sheriff at the time, and they said, we want to just confirm some information that you wrote about this individual. The individual said, what are you talking about? I didn't write a letter on behalf of that individual. That's what led to Ocala Police Department basically telling this individual, you have two choices. We're either going to fire you or you can resign. This individual did resign. What I also want the school board to know is, and I checked just on public records, I didn't go any further than that, this individual has some worthless check charges that occurred in 1997. I'm seriously asking you all as a board member to basically look at the fact that you have hired this individual at $84,000 a year to be removed. And the reason I'm saying that, I'm assuming they're under a position of probation. Under a period of probation, this individual needs to be removed. How are you going to feel if you're an individual and you have to go behind the scenes to double check something that he's done? This is the pattern that this individual has fallen into, and I seriously think that you all need to consider removing this individual. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Angel.
Mr. Jeffrey Barstow?
If I may, before Mr. Barstow begins to speak, so that I can clarify, we're governed by 770.03, which is civil liability of broadcasting stations, because we do have we transmit this out via YouTube. So that does indicate that we need to provide written statements 24 hours in advance when individuals are mentioned, in order to absolve us of liability in those instances. So that's the reason for the rule. And as I indicated there, Ms. Angel, I didn't intend to interrupt your comments, but I respectfully just would ask that everyone adhere to those rules for that purpose. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening. My name is Jeff Barstow. Last name is B as in boy, A-I-R-S-T-O-W. I don't have any kids in the school system. Mine are all grown and graduated and moved on and are living their own lives now. But I am a former law enforcement officer with the Ocala Police Department, and I've served for 28 and a half years. Part of that time while I was serving at the Ocala Police Department, I did background investigations for new hire police officers. That being said, the current Safe School program, from my understanding, is a law enforcement agency. And I think new hires for that agency ought to go through the scrutiny that the same scrutiny that new hires for the Ocala Police Department would go through. I don't think it's a situation that needs to be rushed in 30 to 45 minutes to make a decision. The investigations that I've conducted on new hire employees and new officers for the Ocala Police Department have taken months sometimes to get the information back that's needed to adequately vet a candidate for that position, because those are positions that are of high integrity, honesty, and require a lot of discretion on their part with their day-to-day operations and their job. With that being said, it doesn't appear that a new hire had gone through that process of the strenuous vetting process of hiring a new employee for a law enforcement position. As Ms. Angel had said previously, this new hire candidate was less than a year and a half ago, I think it was October of 2021, requested to leave his last employment because of accusations that were sustained against him on being dishonest, all right, and in violation of the Ocala Police Department's conduct regarding ethics, okay, that they be truthful at all times, even if they're not under oath. This particular person, like I said, they did falsify a award document to the Florida Narcotics Officers Association to provide them for an award for officer or supervisor of the year or whatever it might have been. They claimed initially that their cousin put them in for that notification, that award. Then they changed the story during the investigation and said their son had put them in for that, all right? When reality was that they put themselves in for that award. In addition to that, which it can be easily found through public records through Ocala.com, the newspaper, all right, where this same officer was awarded a recognition at an Orlando Magic game as a Superior Citizen of the Year or whatever kind of acknowledgement that was. These are all awards that this person put in for himself, all right? The position of Threat Assessment Coordinator, all right, should be one of severely high integrity and honesty when it comes to the safety of our kids in our schools, all right? We don't want kids coming home saying, yeah, Mommy and Daddy, I plagiarized Johnny's essay, but it's okay because this person has done the same thing. That's not the kind of outcome that we want to see. There's plenty of documentation in regards to what Ms. Angel said about the prior worthless check, obtaining property with worthless checks. That has been a crime of dishonesty, okay, and is recognized as a crime of dishonesty through the state attorney's office. It was found out in 2014 by this new hire candidate that he had that conviction for this crime of dishonesty. He then filed for the courts to do a motion to vacate that conviction. Along his employment application with the Ocala Police Department, he recognizes that he was convicted of that crime, okay? He was still hired, all right? However, in his motion to the courts in 2014, he swears on the motion that he was unaware of the conviction until a deposition on February 4th of 2014. Which is the truth? We don't know. Was he lying on his application? Did he lie to the courts? Nobody knows. But it does show a pattern of dishonesty with this particular candidate, and I think it requires further investigation and a delay in the hiring process until at least the in-depth background investigation is conducted and not just a background check. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bairstow. Dr. Gullett, would you mind referring these individuals to Ms. Morant, perhaps?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Ms. Morant, our Executive Director for Human Resources, is with us, and she is right there and available for follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you to our public speakers this evening. And in my board comments, I intend to reference at least one of the comments that was made this evening, so we'll get to that. May I have a motion to approve consent agenda items? C10.1 through C21.1, with the exception of items D22.1 and D22.2 that have been placed under discussion. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Dr. James, second by Vice Chair Thrower. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. May I have a motion to approve the third amendment to the standard agreement with Cut Different? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. James. Second by Ms. Conrad. Dr. Gullett, do you have additional information on this item?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, I wanted to just provide some context to this third amendment for Cut Different. As you are well aware, this is a mentorship program for males, and it is serving students currently at Horizon Academy, Howard Middle, Liberty Middle, and Oak Crest Elementary. Some data to share on the students that have participated in the program at those four schools. Those students are in grades 4 through 8, and we have seen a 7% increase of those students participating in ELA and mathematics, as well as a 4% on average increase in their attendance at school, which we know is really critical to support student success in the core academic areas. So Ms. Yvette Del Nodal is here, as well as the Director for Mental Health and Wellness, if you have any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Del Nodal, would you like to add to anything Dr. Gullett said?
Yes, actually, I have a few comments, and then I'm going to introduce Mr. Jamie Gilmore to say a few things as well. So good evening, Board Chair Dr. Campbell, Superintendent Dr. Gullett, and board members. It is a pleasure to provide information this evening regarding our partnership with Cut Different, Inc. Marion County Public Schools has partnered with Cut Different since 2021. The program was initiated in 3 of our schools, Oak Crest Elementary, Howard Middle School, and Liberty Middle School, and expanded last year to Lakewood Middle and now Horizon. The program creates a psychoeducational empowerment experience for young men, and it provides the opportunity for participants to interact with positive role models and mentors who provide motivation and also reinforce skills necessary for academic success. Mr. Gilmore has some additional qualitative data for you, collected through pre- and post surveys that are completed with the actual students themselves. One of the main things we learned following school closures was the importance of connectedness for students, and this program offered an opportunity to address just that. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Jamie Gilmore, CEO of Cut Different, Inc. The details of the program are going to be much more impactful coming from him, as I know his passion is great for this kind of work. Mr. Gilmore.
Right, thank you for that introduction. Good evening, Board Chair Dr. Campbell, board members, Superintendent Dr. Gullett. As you stated, some of the criteria that and you stated what the program was. So for those that don't know what Cut Different is, we have 3 phases to our 3 programs in our organization. We run an empowerment program where we partner with you all. We have after-school programs that we run at our main location, and we partner with the hospital district and run one at Howard Academy Community Center, and then we have one of the best summer programs that you'll ever see, in my opinion. All right. Just to go over some of the data that was stated. So some of the things we track in school, and I know at this level, statistics matter. And you want to see what a kid's grades is doing and what its behavior is doing, and all those numbers matter. But when you get at the ground levels, there are other things that matter to you. If you walk on our campuses now, there's a lack of motivation. I'm pretty sure you could talk to any principal, any teacher, any school personnel, and they speak to the lack of motivation. For us in our program, outside of the program description that just was given, in my own words, our whole purpose of being on campus is to make the campus a more vibrant place. Again, we want to interact with the teachers, we want to interact with the students, we want to make it better by having our presence felt. Even going on campuses this week and being new and just seeing the kids run up to us and telling principals that they want to be in our program and just different things like that, it makes us feel good. And the connectedness is one. So when we say connectedness is the mentor made the student feel as if they are part of their school. So that's a big part. When you go to school and you feel like this is just something I got to do because somebody told me I got to be here, or is this something I want to do because I feel as if I'm a part of it, like kids feel when they're a part of sports. So for connectedness over the past year, the 21-22 school year at Howard, we've seen an 86% kids that felt like they were more connected. And then these, like she stated, these come from surveys. So we give students pre-surveys in the beginning of the year and post-surveys at the end of the year. So 86% of the kids at Howard felt they were more connected. 100% at Liberty felt they were more connected. And then over at Oakcrest Elementary, we had an 80% in connectedness. Motivation is another thing we track. So making a person feel more motivated to want to do their work. Again, motivation, there's all types of statistics that talk about how important motivation is. 100% in motivation over at Oakcrest, 100% at Howard, and 83% over at Liberty. And then another thing we track is behavioral data. So having a mentor, and this is from the student's perspective, so having a mentor made me feel as if I have more control over my behavior. So over at Oakcrest, we've seen 80% of the boys said they felt that, 71% at Howard, and 100% at Liberty. Other things that we track, we do get teachers, we give teachers pre-surveys and post-surveys. I have copies here. Obviously, each student has multiple teachers, and I just pulled one. And again, you can hear one. Not every kid, turns into to be a success, but again, if you get one, that's our goal. So I have our survey here from the teachers, and it gives 6 questions. One of the questions, the first one is rate mentees' behavior in your class. Number 2, rate mentees' engagement in class activities. Number 3, rate mentees' attendance in your class. Number 4, does mentee display personal, positive, and responsible social behavior? Number 5, does mentee show respect in your class? Number 6, does mentee display confidence in his ability to complete schoolwork? So again, these questions have nothing to do with does the mentee have the AB honor roll? Does the mentee have no referrals? Again, it's the things that we happen to overlook sometimes. Again, like respect. We lost the simple things or the things that, even when I was a child, that were hit on with respect. And so for this one young man we have, so for example, how this looked, and it gives a 1 out of 5 rating. So 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. This young man at the beginning, he made a 3 in the first category, behavior in class, and then he transferred with a 5 at the end of the post of the year. Number 2, rate mentees' engagement in class. He was a 3. He stayed a 3. And on this one, rate mentees' attendance. It was a 3, and then it went to a 1. And then we have, does a mentee display positive and responsible social behavior? The answer was somewhat, and on this one it says mostly at the end of the year. And the 5th, does mentee show respect in your class? It says somewhat. On the post it says yes. And then the last one, does mentee display confidence in his ability to complete schoolwork? Somewhat. And then on the post it says yes. So again, that was just to give you guys an example of how we track what we do. These statistics are important to us, and we're just trying to make your campus a better place for the students and for the teachers.
Thank you, Mr. Gilmore. Board, are there any questions or comments specific to this agenda item? Ms. Conrad.
I don't have a question for you, Jamie, but just a comment, and I want to thank you for the work that you and your team, you've got your team, I don't know if you'd like to introduce them.
I'm glad. Thank you for that. So we do. We have my team members here. We have Miles McConaughey, wave your hand. We have Mr. Rory Carter, and then we have Eddie Rocker over there, who is our co-founder. Then we got some boys back here as well. If you guys stand up, Aiden, and we got Sakai back here. We got Benjamin and their families. Thank you all for being here as well. We appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
I'm just really grateful for the work that you're doing hands-on in our school with our students, and I think it goes perfectly with the recognition we did at the beginning of the program, and the word you used, connectedness. Having school supplies when you start at the beginning of the year, fitting in like everyone else at school, having someone that checks in with you, that mentors you, that supports you, and guides you, also helps build that connectedness. So I'm just really grateful for the work that you and your team do, and I'm excited to see it expanding to 2 new campuses. So thank you.
You all.
Dr. James.
I did want to say thank you for the work you're doing with mentorship, and I see, for me, the value too is not only the impact that you all are having directly with students, but the impact that you are having as a model to other adults on the campus on how to build relationships with students. I say all the time, if all of the 7,000 or so employees that we had across our campuses all picked one kid, we would solve the problem. If everyone picked one child that needed help, we could really close the gap. And so while I'm so appreciative of the work you're doing with the students, I do believe that you are modeling how to build relationships with students and show the other adults on the campus that it's possible and that that gap can be closed and relationships can be built. And so I thank you for that too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James. Vice Chair Thrower.
Thank you, and good evening, Mr. Gilmore. And I understand you'll be joining us at Fort King and already have.
Yes, we already started there. So Fort King, Horizon. So that was the only one we missed out, Fort King. We already started there.
Yes, sir, and that's very important to me because I represent that school and I've had a chance to witness your good work. And I remember the conversation we had in 2021 when you were first introducing the program, and I was all about it then, and I continue to be all about it now. And I hope that the kids that are here tonight have seen and witnessed for themselves the outpouring of support and love and faith that this community has for our kids and for our school system. The outpouring that I witnessed tonight was like nothing I've ever seen. And I've been with this district a long time. So it's a great, great time to be part of Marion County Public Schools, and I'm so grateful for the partnership that we have with you and how it's growing. Thank you again.
Thank you, Vice Chair Thrower. Do either one of you ladies want to say something? Okay, go ahead, Caitlin.
I, of course, wanted to say thank you. You're receiving a lot of praise, and obviously I feel from a student perspective that it's important to kind of give my feedback as well, because you mentioned schools that I've not only attended, but I've had a lot of peers attend as well. And with building up school motivation and engagement, regardless of a student's academic standing, I wanted to truly thank you for that, because I have run into so many wonderful individuals that deserve as much love and care no matter where they are standing in terms of their academics, and it's so satisfying to see that they're getting that attention, especially in middle and elementary schools, because it's better to start then than it is later on, but regardless, it's wonderful. And in terms of having a mentor, I can speak to that a lot. I feel that in high school, I've had the privilege of growing closer with a lot of different teachers because I have them for different subjects, and I can feel that and confidently say I feel more welcome and motivated to do the work that I have to put in, and part of it is having someone to be able to go to outside of my family, so thank you, genuinely.
Yeah, thank you.
I just kind of wanted to add on to what Caitlin said. I actually went to Horizon when I was in middle school, obviously, but that middle school has a lot of people that are in need of, adults, grown-ups, and also anything to enrich campus. And other than just going to class and going home, it really allows students to fully develop, and not just in an educational way, but also build relationships with people, build their personalities, really find out what they want. And just having someone to be there at such a young age really helps people, and hopefully that'll help like us as grown-ups be a more well-rounded person. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And to wrap this up just before the board vote, thank you, Mr. Gilmore, for being here this evening when this was just kind of a vision and a dream sitting in the Community Foundation. You and I had a conversation since we saw Lauren DeOria from the Community Foundation. It's kind of coming full circle here. Before you were ever in your first school, I believe. So really excited. I appreciated the opportunity for us to shine a spotlight on this. And when we had conversation during agenda review, talking about this item being as a discussion item rather than in the consent agenda, because I think that the uniqueness of your program deserves the attention that it's getting this evening. And as you've heard from fellow board members and our 2 student board members as well, we appreciate what you're doing for all of our students that you're reaching, and those that you will continue to reach, and those that you will yet reach. Because frankly, I've said to other people, we could use 4 cut difference. I mean, we really could. If there's someone else out there that's interested in at some point you're going to reach a capacity, Mr. Gilmore, and it's going to be really difficult. So we're just really grateful for this partnership and the opportunity that you've brought to us, and this vision that you had, because this was a vision right out of college, that you had this vision to impact your community, you and your brother both. And so just really grateful for you making that vision a reality and impacting students here in the county. So with that, board, we do have to take official action. So we have a motion and a second on the table. If there's no further discussion, all in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you so much, Cut Different. Okay, moving on to our final discussion item this evening, which is item D22.2, which is the approval of the proposed amended draft ordinance relating to impact fees, amending the Code of Marion County, Florida, Chapter 10, Licenses, Taxation, and Miscellaneous Business Regulations, Article 15, Educational System Impact Fee, making technical changes, amending Section 10-421, Definitions, amending Section 10-422, subsection 7, Findings, amending Section 10-424, Adoption of Impact Fee Study, amending Section 10-431, subsection B, Imposition, providing for a remainder clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date. So I'm going to actually ask Attorney Powers to speak to this ahead of a motion or a second, because I'm not certain that we even have to have that. So Attorney Powers, will you please speak to this item for us?
Understood. Thank you. Yes, if you recall, during our joint meeting with the Board of County Commissioners, I was tasked with making some edits to submit to the county attorney. I have also done the same with the city attorney. Those edits included 2 broad areas. One was to expand the current 3 categories that have traditionally been there into 5 categories, so that there were pullouts for townhouses, and also to further define the difference between mobile home parks and single-family detached or mobile home on a lot. I have sought input from our study consultant, Benish, and they have provided the data regarding those numbers and the student generation rates for each. I have replicated those directly, and they are on the form that I have attached for tonight's agenda. I made those edits and inserted those definitions just exactly as were the directions that I was given. And I have now sent it off to the county attorney for them to review. I have not yet heard anything back, but that was just today that I finalized and got everything back that I needed. So what I would ask is for you to approve my edits, as you see here, for me to share with the county commission formally. And that would be, you've already voted and put forth initial document, and that document asked for additional clarification to pull out those areas. So that's what I'm looking for here is board consensus. And I would not feel that this needs a specific board action of a vote, but in an abundance of caution, we may do a motion, second, and vote on this item. But first, I invite any discussion you may have regarding the edits that I have made.
Thank you, Attorney Powers. So actually, to get us all official, so we will make this an official motion. May I have a motion to approve the amended ordinance relating to impact fees and all the other things that I read just a few moments ago? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. James, second by Ms. Conrad. Board, is there any discussion on what Attorney Powers has submitted to us? Dr. James.
I would like to seek clarification on our next steps. With, is the county going to be required to have another meeting, a community public hearing? I'm just looking to understand what's next.
Again, we've held 2 public workshops, and under the definition of statute, my interpretation is that's sufficient. However, I understand that the county also would prefer to operate with an abundance of caution. Our joint workshop meeting meets the definitions as required. that it was a public workshop that was dedicated to the sole purpose, it wasn't just an insert agenda item, the sole purpose of the determination of the extraordinary needs and circumstances, and I think Chair Curry laid that out quite well. What would have to happen from here is if the county, and I've also sent it to the city attorney, if they have any requested, edit or anything like that, that falls within the framework of what I was tasked to do at the joint meeting, then I can certainly make that. However, going forward with what we have here, I would anticipate that the county would hold one more public workshop and then proceed to vote.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So as long as there are not any major changes, this board will not see it in front of us again, and it will move on towards the county commission.
Right. At this point, based on what I was tasked to do specifically and asked a lot of questions during that meeting, this was the specific direction I was asked to clarify and solidify. So everyone expressed that they wanted to make sure that the attorneys had reviewed everything to ensure legality, and then we would move forward.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any additional comments, board?
Ready to vote?
Ready to?
All right, let's vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Please send this on to the county attorney Powers. You have full approval from this school board to move forward.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So before moving on to our board committee reports and concerns, I would like to say that our next special meeting of the school board has been scheduled for September 1st, 2023. We'll be talking about facilities and construction updates. The next administrative briefing and work session has been scheduled for September 7th, 2023, also with a special school board meeting 30 minutes prior. We also have an administrative briefing and work session scheduled for September 21st, 2023, with a special school board meeting 30 minutes prior to that one as well. So I would now like to move on to committee reports. Ms. Martinez, do you have anything from the board clerk's office?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Attorney Powers, anything else from legal?
Not at this point, no. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you've been working really hard on a lot of things right now. Thank you, Attorney Powers.
now.
I know. Dr. Gullett.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Just a few items. It's the 9th day of school, believe it or not, and we appreciate the community's continued patience with us with transportation. Been in the schools every day, and I'm very, very pleased and appreciative of our teachers and our staff for the focused instruction that I've seen from day one. That continues. I want to also share that we are kicking off our second Leadership MCPS class that begins on Friday. And so we look forward to meeting about 20 members from the community that will learn more about the work that we do each and every day in all of the areas of Marion County Public Schools to support students. And I am also pleased to announce, you may be aware, that for the now 23rd year, our finance department has won the award in recognition for their outstanding work for accountability and transparency in financing education for schools. This year, last year I told you where we were in the state. This year we are one of only 13 districts in the state. So again, reminder, we have 67 districts. We're one of only 13 with this recognition. So I'm really proud of and grateful to Ms. Boston Ellis and her entire team, who you've seen and heard from quite a bit with financing, education, and budgeting this year. Again, appreciative of all their work and very well deserved. I also want to remind everyone that as we talk about student outcomes and focused instruction, attendance is critical. And tomorrow is the first early day for this school year. As you may remember, we had quite a bit of discussion around that, 2 hours early. And yes, every hour counts for instruction, even on those early days. So parents, please make sure your students are there. Students, we look forward to seeing you, but it's the first early day. My last comment, as I sit here as the superintendent of schools, all of the folks that came out and filled this room tonight, we've talked about impact, we've talked about mentoring, we've talked about community support. They're inspiring. And everyone is working together to ensure that our students have all the needed support that they have. but especially they're meeting our students wherever they are in many different ways. So extremely grateful for the continued partnership and for the expanding partnerships of our students in schools and outside as we deepen our work with our families and the community. Just incredibly grateful and looking forward to a great year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Dr. James.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to take just a few minutes to highlight a few things that we saw tonight. Spar Elementary is in my neck of the woods, and I am so grateful for Ms. Talbot Irving's leadership with the entire academic team, and they had the vision to bring aviation to the North End. Dr. Gullett and I also had a chance to do some tours back in maybe the winter time of an individual who has some great aviation ideas in our community as well. And what I see is the ability to really foster a desire for kids to come to school every day and strengthen that. And so that's what I love by creating these academies. Overwhelming to see so many people here from our community. Ashley Gerds with the Community Foundation spearheading that amazing event and getting 8,000 kids backpacks. And then you have Dr. Ham with 2023 backpacks. He was funny because he said, I only have to do one more to beat, to beat for next year. I thought that was really cool. Ms. Magamal and all the work that they do in the Public Ed Foundation with tools for teaching and helping our teachers get prepared. And then it was such an honor to be a part of some of the faith-based organizations and their work leading into the start of school. So I am so grateful to have everyone involved. This is not a activity that any of us can do in a silo. We have to work as a community together to accomplish all of this great work, and I am so grateful that we have such amazing community partners. Tonight in the consent agenda, we approved the contract for 2 architects. The first is for building the Liberty Middle School Wing Addition, and the second is the architect who will be designing, not building, designing the Technology Center, the new data center. So I am so grateful that we've been able to get those through, and I look forward to our next board meeting on September 1st, but we'll see more contracts. We have lots of great partners we're strengthening relationships with, and we're going to get a lot of work underway. I want to acknowledge the administrative personnel items that we approved in the consent agenda as well. Congratulations to Casey Rivera, who's growing from a dean to an assistant principal at Fort King Middle. And finally, I just want to say I am very grateful that this board tonight approved our version of the impact fee ordinance, and we are moving forward. We are going to conclude our work on this for now and send it on to the County Commission for their diligent work and hopeful approval so that we can continue to work towards closing the gap of funding that's going to be required for this school board to do what needs to be done to provide top-tier facilities for our students. So with that will conclude my comments.
Thank you, Dr. James. Moving down to student Genesis. Do you have anything to share with us this evening?
I'm just going to say that I'm really excited to start school again. I had a great first week back at school. What interesting things am I doing this year? I'm dual enrolling through College of Central Florida this year for my second year, and I'm just really thankful for this county to allow me to do that. And I'm also graduating with my ACE diploma this year. Also really thankful for that because it allows me to get a Bright Futures degree without a 1350 SAT, which I know is not achievable for a lot of students. It is a pretty high score. So yeah, I'm just excited to get the school year started, get some academics in the way, and also just have a fun year, have my senior year. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Genesis. Ms. Conrad.
Yes, well, really, Dr. James wrapped up a lot with her thanks and what we've worked on this evening, but I'll just say, in spite of also being grateful, I'm also really proud to be a citizen in Marion County. I too am just overwhelmed. On Facebook, you see all the events and things that are happening, but to really see it in person and see the numbers for what was produced for our students is really inspiring and exciting. And coming out of the classroom, one of the reasons I decided to run for office was because the need is so great. there's just so much need in our schools today, and so I am really grateful and really proud to be a part of the Marion County community, and I'm thank you for our faith-based partnerships along with our business partnerships and our nonprofits, because we truly could not do it with the success we're having without your support. And so I just want to say thank you again, although it's been said several times. I have a couple other thank yous. Kevin, thank you. Our legislative agenda you pushed out very quickly. We sat, Chair Campbell, we went over that last meeting and you had that right out to us. So thank you so much for that. And congratulations, Ms. Boston Ellis, on the great work that you do that for me, it's really a miracle because we sit out and toss out things to her all the time and things are changing every minute of the day. And so thank you for your diligence and hard work to keep us on track. So thank you for that. And also want to say thank you for our community members that showed up this evening to speak. It does take a village as we continually work to move forward and make the best decisions that we can. And I'm thankful for the people in our community that are ever vigilant for decisions that we make and the work that we're putting into what we do each and every day. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Conrad. Caitlin, do you have anything this evening?
Yes, I wanted to say that so far it's been a great school year. We're off to a great start. I also wanted to say thank you. I know most of them have left, but a lot of the impact and motivation this year for the school year is so rewarding to see, and it's very supportive. I, too, dual enroll just like Genesis through the College of Central Florida, and I am proud to say that this year I'm graduating with my associate's degree in biology, and I'm hopefully attending the University of Florida. I know Genesis and I have been talking about college applications enough, so that's the goal. But again, it's a really, really large and kind of daunting process, but we're both very excited and we're very grateful to have individuals and also this opportunity to share the student voice as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Vice Chair Thrower.
Thank you. You know, I have seen, heard, and witnessed multiple examples tonight of what a highly successful, high-functioning school district looks like. You know, that's all starting to come into focus, and that is pretty darn exciting. And I continue to be very grateful to have Ms. Genesis and Ms. Caitlin's input and feedback. It's just really refreshing to use any opportunity we can to connect the kids to the work that you're doing and that we're trying to do to assist you to get to your goals, each and every student. And just the broad examples tonight of all of the kids that we are serving and are dedicated to continue to serve is nothing short of inspirational. It's just been a great night, and we still have a dad on duty there in the audience. and just starting to build that relationship at Fort King Middle School has been so much fun. You know, you were there the first day of school, and that's something that the kids notice. That's one of the questions they always ask. When are you coming back? Are you coming back? And the young men that were sitting down from Cut Different tonight, they had a chance to see adults doing great work on their behalf. And I know that this is the year when it's all going to pay off. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Thrower. Thank you again for acknowledging our new student members. We're probably going to continue to be excited that you're here, and then before too long it's going to be October and we're going to have to change out, and I'm not excited about that. So, but this is wonderful that we have this opportunity to have the student voice on our board, in our board meetings and at our board dais. So thank you so much again, ladies, for joining us. I did want to speak quickly to one of the public comments that was made this evening, specifically regarding our school calendar, wanting to acknowledge that the school calendar for 2023-2024 has been approved and will not be amended. But comments this evening will be considered as we consider the 2024-2025 school calendar, not making any promises, but just acknowledging that the comments have been received and heard. But as it stands, the 2023-2024 school calendar is not intended to be amended in any shape, form, or fashion, with the exception of any kind of weather makeup days that may occur at any given time. I know, that was kind of a jinx, I'm sorry. I did want to offer a couple of committee reports because this is the time for that. This morning was the Public Education Foundation Board meeting, and it is a pleasure to serve in that capacity as the chair. They are now at an all-time high of 29 board members, and it was a room full, Dr. Gullett was there as well, a room full of energy and engaged folks ready and willing to help our students any way they can. It was just a powerful presence in the room. Also wanted to make you aware, as sitting on the City of Ocala Planning and Zoning Commission as a non-voting board member, something that was approved unanimously, Mr. Hurley, he was there as well, approved unanimously by Planning and Zoning that's going before City Council on September 19th, was to abrogate a portion of Southwest 13th Street, which is essentially an alleyway located between South Pine Avenue and Southwest 3rd Avenue for Advent Health. Advent Health, it was for Florida Hospital and Marion County Hospital District, which is essentially Advent Health. But the purpose of what they're doing is to close an alleyway so that they can actually build a building on 2 parcels. I'm just making that as a statement. Mr. Hurley and I spoke briefly about it, but should this board in times in the future be prepared to do something with some of our downtown properties, we do have an alleyway of sorts in one of the areas that potentially could be something that we could ask for that to be abrogated in advance of potentially the dissolution of that property, if we chose to do that. So I just want to make you all aware, it potentially is happening on September 19th. Certainly City Council may deny it, but if they approve it, there would be precedent set that could potentially impact this board in the future. So just want to make you aware of that. I also wanted to say thank you to Ms. Dobbins and her team. This board has mentioned a few times about scoreboards and the challenges that we have on some of our athletic fields with scoreboards, and we received an update today on that. And also that there is a plan moving forward for scoreboards across the district that we will be considering at a later time. So just thank you. It's a long time coming. I, as an individual board member, am super grateful for the work that you all have put in on that. Within the past week, I did attend the launch of the Aviation Academy. I attended a school advisory meeting and helped with Carline at Osceola Middle School. And I also attended the football game at Booster Stadium for Vanguard on Friday night. And I just love Friday Night Lights. Looking forward to attending as many football games as I can. Only wish I could clone myself and be at multiple at the same time. Thank you for mentioning the legislative priorities that Mr. Christian sent out. I did not hear any objections, so I believe that that's ready to go to print, unless any of you had something. Vice Chair Thrower.
Only that I think that it's worth considering to just take out the modeling on Georgia, because I'm quite certain that our legislature would have their own ideas of how to present and are going to want to hear from us about what our challenges are currently. I think that's where the conversation was going, last year, what would need to be different. And eventually I would really like to see them consider, educational neglect, as evidenced by just tonight's meeting, the level of intense focus on trying to help our kids become great citizens and very successful. They need to be in school. They've got to be in school. So there's many states that are doing innovative things, not just Georgia. So we just want to join in.
Okay, terrific. Well, with that, Mr. Christian, if you can make that change, and then we can go ahead and print them and be ready for the September 13th meeting of the local delegation. We already have our little placards with the faces of our board members who will be unable to join us that day, so we're ready to hold them up in our photographs and so forth. So ready to go. It is a tradition now. We did, and we're going to continue it. Additionally, I wanted to make you aware that I heard today from Tina Pinkinson, who is asking for us to set a date and time for our final master board training. So if you, as board members, will check your calendars and see if possibly we can get that scheduled either the end of September or early October, so we could get that set and be done with that, hopefully. Then legislative days. So this is coming up January 17th and 18th. I know that the school board is going up during committee weeks in November, but as your advocacy and legislative liaison to the Florida School Board Association, they are requesting that all committee members actually attend legislative days, and so I will be attending. It's January 17th and 18th, but the hotels are filling up. So if you are interested in going for that, please let Ms. Martinez know by Friday of this week, please, so she can get us scheduled. If you are interested, I do intend to attend. And finally, the last thing, just as a housekeeping item, we're also needing to plan ahead for November 29th through December 1st for the joint conference that we always attend. And if you can let Ms. Martinez know by September 1st your plans to attend that as well, we will get that set and scheduled. It's always a wonderful opportunity for us to go and have such great professional development. So that wraps up, sorry for the housekeeping items there at the end, Board, but that wraps up all of my comments this evening. And we'll move on to student disciplinary matters. Ms. Martinez, are there any parents who have submitted a timely request to speak on their child's disciplinary matter?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the expulsion of student JD 23-0136 for the remainder of the 2022-2023 school year and the first and second semesters of the 2023-2024 school year?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Conrad.
Second.
Second by Dr. James. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. May I have a motion to approve the recommended order from W. David Watkins, Administrative Law Judge, on 23-1547 EXP?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Thrower. Second by Ms. Conrad. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. May I have a motion to approve the recommended order from James H. Peterson, Administrative Law Judge, on 23-0786 EXP?
I need to stop you before you
Thank you.
do that. Ms. Alday, I understand if you're in the audience out there. Is that you? Okay. Of the two proposed final orders that I prepared, I understand that on one of them, there may be an alternate disposition. Okay, I've prepared final orders in both that reflect that DOA recommendation. So if one of those two is going to be a joint stipulation or something else, we'll need to address that separately.
So does it need to be
before entering a vote today? Do you know which of the two numbers it is that? Okay, we won't be able to proceed until we know which of those it is, because I understand there's been something
new that has occurred since this agenda was posted? Okay, should we go into a brief recess for us to determine?
Yes.
Okay, we will take a brief recess at 7:07 p.m. Thank you. Coming back out of recess at 7:11 PM after a brief clarification, item 24.3 on this evening's board agenda is going to be pulled. We need to have further discussion on that at a later time and address that in a different meeting. So with that, there being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ms. Conrad.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Thrower. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Meeting is now adjourned at 7:12 PM. Thank you so much.